Okay, so to continue on, first of all, I need to correct my mistake about the name of this channel is Survivors Speak Out. It was a long time ago that I actually created the channel, and then I was having a lot of trouble at that time trying to upload to YouTube. So I just kind of had given up, and I switched over to doing live broadcasts on Periscope. And if anyone would like to see my Periscope broadcasts, on Periscope, my name is on there is at Justice Warrior 007. So if you'd like to do that, I've done several broadcasts on there. But I decided to go ahead and try back, to get back to this Survivors Speak Out and actually really do some stuff here on this channel. Because I know that I can reach, perhaps another audience, a different sort of audience on YouTube. So, all right, to continue on, the ritual abuse that happened in Springfield, Missouri at the Masonic Temple, there were many other children that were being abused right along with me. The first thing, the first time, which I remembered in 2001, at, let's see, I would have been between 26, 27, around 27. It was that this woman named Pat, who was a Jehovah's Witness, took me into Springfield, said we were going to go to a theater, to a movie, and we got into this little theater and it was empty, and except for two men. And I was grabbed by them and injected with a drug that made me unconscious. When I came to, I was naked, bound, my hands bound behind my back, kneeling on a cold floor in a room, like a basement type room with no windows, and a very scary bas relief design on one wall. It was like all like a black stone wall with this bas relief designs, which were very scary. It was very scary images on it. And there were other children crying and sniffling around me. And I ended up getting marked out by my behavior, my reaction to what was happening. The shock, there was nothing, response at first, just paralyzation that, of course, a small child would have, and terror. And then I realized, being an intelligent little girl who was already being abused, in a few ways at home, I sensed and knew that these people who were doing this wanted me to cry, wanted us to cry and to be afraid, to show fear. And there was a little boy, I will never forget this, who was right next to me, bound, naked on the floor, sniffling and trying, kind of trying to control it, but unable to control it. And I spoke to him quietly and said, "Don't give them this. Don't cry. They want us to cry. They want us to be afraid. Don't show them you're afraid." Well, one of the adults heard me, and this marked me out as being strong. They saw me as a cream of the crop, I suppose, for programming, for more abuse, for, in their crazy system, this Luciferian belief system they had, they felt like they were granting me a privilege, I think. I was told that I was so special and that I was so strong, and that they wanted to make me what they called a black princess or a dark princess within the group, within the, you know, their crazy group that had this ritualistic stuff and, you know, abusing children in the ritual stuff that they did. So I was forced to do group sex. It was child porn going on with that, photographing of things that were done to me that I was forced to do. I remember someone filming, actually, with like a filming camera, you know, movie type camera. So there was child porn going on. I think that was probably how they were making money off of what they were doing. I've read about other groups that do the same kind of stuff too, other places, other people's stories that I've listened to and watched who've been through the same sort of thing. So there was a spiritual abuse angle where they were binding me to demons, you know, as well as some of the other children that they had marked out in that group of children that they were abusing. And I could feel the evil, you know. It's hard to describe what you feel when you're subjected to something like that. But it was like I could feel the demonic forces, the dark forces that they were calling down and binding to me, or binding me to. I actually remembered in 2001 was when all these memories of the ritual abuse, 2001 to 2002, these memories were coming up for me. And I remember them even, you know, the demonic names that they were using in these rituals to bind children to demons, or bind demons to children, vice versa, whatever. I remember them using the name Azazel in one session. I remember another time they referred to an entity called Samael. You know, so, and it was so horrible. It was like, almost like a smell and a touch. It was almost tangible, really, the evil that was there in that room. So this was very terrorizing. All of the things that were done to me. They would physically punish us without leaving a mark. They had that down to an art form, how to physically hurt us to get us to do what they wanted, to train us. And they would say to me, we're not hurting you. This, as they were hurting me, we're not hurting you, we're helping you. We're making you strong. You will be so strong, you know, and you will have a privileged place in the world. This is what I was told while I was being abused by these adults. So that's some of what happened. I am going to leave it there for a little while, but I will come back and do more and tell more of my story. Thank you, everyone, anyone who watches this video, and, you know, I'll be back.
And I felt like I had to ask, though, and I feel like I have to share it with you guys now, and it is disturbing, and I want to warn you, but I feel it's my responsibility to tell you guys, because it is the truth, and I believe if we all knew this, we would dedicate much more of ourselves to stopping it. So when I asked what child pornography entailed, yes, it's nude images of boys and girls under the age of 18. But now, because of high-speed internet, it's also videos very prominently. And videos of kids, and by kids I mean prepubescent, visibly prepubescent. And they make the distinction because of the internet and there's so much content, these pedophiles are desensitized. Because of that, the kids are getting younger and the content is getting that much more devastating. So when this law enforcement officer told me this, I asked him how young are the young kids he's seeing, and he told me infants. And I have a 6-month-old baby. So I said, what does that mean, you know, like what does an infant mean? And he said, with the umbilical cord still attached. I know it's so devastating to hear this, and I'm really sorry to share this, but I'm grateful that you guys are listening, because this is actually happening, and it's important that we know this, and that it resonates with us, so that we think about this in our days and in our personal life. So I asked them what happens in these videos, and unspeakable things happen, but I'm again going to speak about them, because I feel like if these kids are experiencing this, the least that they deserve is for us to hear what is actually happening to them. So no, it's not just touching. There is penetration,